Okay, that's enough pandering on the back end and making it work on the unseen side of things under the hood. Let's make this thing pretty. So in this video, what we're going to do is go ahead and get logged back in because our power went to sleep. And what we're going to do is we're just going to do some theming. Let's see here. Let's do accessories, administration. I can never remember the name of this, or I would just search for it. Sorry about that. It is the system settings. Oh my god, I can't believe I can. Anyway, so what we're going to do here is we're going to look at the themes. Is what we're going to change here. Maybe we might change our mouse pointer, but our applications icon and desktop theme. We can add remove in this little tab over here. If you're coming from Cinnamon, none of this is strange. But you can also add your some theming that you got going on over here. You can change your settings just like in Mint. Let's see what it's installed. We can change like our coloring if we want to. These are our current options, and these are our current themes that come with it. We're going to add some flavor to this. Before I do though, what I want to do is let me turn this. I'm going to turn this like screensaver thing off. So if this is sitting here and it is not doing anything, I don't want it to go to sleep. So let me go ahead and turn that part off real quick. So clock, right. There we go. All right. That should stop it from going to sleep. Okay. So under system info, this is Debian Trixie. We're using Cinnamon version 6.4.10 on kernel 6.3. I'm sorry, 6.12.33. It's got 8 gigs of RAM. There's my hard drives and my video. Blah blah blah. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we can go ahead. And what I'm going to do is I am going to use theming that is already built in to the official repos instead of going out to like gnomelook.org or anything like that. There's a myriad of places you can go and get themes. There's a half a dozen GNOME and GTK based sites out there. Thousands and thousands and thousands of themes. You can even use Mint's theme if you really want to. I'm not going to. We're just going to use something a little bit different. But I don't remember what it's called. Not exactly. It's the Arc theme. So we're going to see if we can find that by doing an apt search. We're going to look for Arc, but we're going to narrow that list down to theme. So what I'm going to do is I'm looking for Arc, but I only want to return the lines that also contain theme. That's what grep does, and this -I just means it's case insensitive. So I can make this whatever capitalization I want, and it will still return the exact same results because I'm telling it to ignore the case. All right, so that's still quite a bit. This right here is what we're looking for, Arc theme. So I was just straight up called Arc theme. Okay. Arc-theme. Sudo, no, let's do this. Nala, sudo nala, install arc-theme. Like I said, you probably know this tool from a bajillion of the fake respins out there where it just makes everything look pretty. So, okay, so Arc is installed now. Let's see what that gave us. So now I know it's called system settings. I remember it's called system settings, theme. There we go. That arc darker, which is what I want here. So that's changing the title bar around. Let me open this up here so we can see some of the changes in real time. And it didn't change that, but we can do this. So that changes the title bar around. Or I can go with the lighter colored one that makes this light. So whatever you want to do there, whether you want it dark or you want it light. And this just adds just a little bit more polish to it is all it does. Of course, the icons aren't there. Let's do, I don't think there was an icon theme, was there? Let's check that out. So we're going to do that, but we're also going to grep for icon. Nope. Looks like just one for clause mail, and we're not interested in that. Okay. So let's do something very similar to that, but instead of grepping or searching for that, let's search for mint. I don't think it's going to be in there. Dark mint. Okay, so this says something about the mint-y icon theme. Let's just do this instead, and we're going to sift through this. Chameleon cursor, dark mint. Mint y icons. Okay, so we can get the mint y icons. Let's go ahead and put that in there, especially since we're thinking about mint anyway. Where's my install? Mint y icons. Yes. Some of the things from Mint will make it over here, others won't. You can actually go and get the icon theme from Mint directly if you really wanted to. Let's go ahead and close that and open it back up just to make sure it reads everything correctly. Themes, gnome, and aqua is exactly what I was looking for. You can also do blue. You can do whatever else is in here. Yaru. Mint Y, navy. Oh, I like that. That's actually pretty cool. Okay, so we can also look at backgrounds. There's all kinds of them that come with Debian. That doesn't look like the default background to me, but that looks a little better. Of course, you can always go to the internet, and if you find a picture you like, you can download it and use it as your background. I'm going to go ahead and change this back to blue. That way, this blue kind of themes along a little bit with what's going on here. That looks a bit better. So just that little bit alone made Debian look a lot more nicer. Okay. All right. Okay. So that's going to be it for the theming, really. Let's go back over here, and we're going to go... another thing I like to do is in date and time, I will go down here and display the date. If you look down here in the lower right-hand corner, that's where that comes from. Right now, it's just got the time. I want it to show the date, so I know what day it is. That's just me. Okay. You can also turn on hot corners if you want. Currently, they're all disabled. Let's say what hot corners are is I can enable, say, this one here, and I can do show desktop. Okay. By doing that, by pushing my mouse up here to the corner, it will show my desktop. Let's say I had all these windows open. I go up here to the corner, it shows me my desktop. If I wanted to run a command, I can type whatever command I want to run here. Like, let's say it's a script or something, but pushing that up there, say I want to log out. Here I can show all my workspaces. I've got 4 of them here I can choose from, and I can just go back to do whatever I want. So hot corners is really pretty cool. You can change your fonts in here. You can change your effects in here. And all these, this is all the same as on Linux Mint. So if you're coming from Linux Mint and you want to take those proverbial training wheels off and go from the type 1 distribution to the type 2 distribution, but you still like the workflow and the way Debian Mint works on the surface, you can definitely do that with Debian. All right, so you can get your extensions, just pretty much everything else that's in here. Your disks, everything. Mouse and mouse pad. You can also change your cursor in here, if I'm not mistaken. Your cursor theme. No, that's just the mouse itself. Panel, themes. That's just, oh, there's your cursor theme right there. Let's install a cursor theme. Let's clear this out, and we're going to apt search oxygen. And we want to direct that to cursors. And right there it is. It's just called oxygen cursors. Simple enough. Sudo sudo nala oxygen cursors. Install oxygen cursors. And it'll download and install oxygen cursors, and then we can change away from those plain old cursors that we were seeing there. Minimize that. And we can, I do the yellow. I'm kind of old. I need some contrast, so I'll do that. And also there should be simplified settings. You can choose your mixed, your dark, your light, just like you can on Mint. Go back. Thank you. All right, applets, gestures, pretty much everything that you have on Linux Mint, you can do here for the most part. Linux Mint, it's not a secret, but it's not always spoken about. Linux Mint is 99.9% Ubuntu. There are more than 70,000 packages, 70,000 packages available just in Debian alone, and Ubuntu adds to that. Sudo apt install. Watch this. Once you go to there, hit space and tab a couple times, and it will tell you exactly how many possibilities there are. And Ubuntu will add to that, and so does Linux Mint. Okay, but Linux Mint only adds about 500 packages. Now, those 500 packages is what makes Linux Mint Linux Mint. That's what clearly separates the playing field from Mint and Ubuntu. Don't get me wrong, those 500 packages are very important. But in the grand scheme of things, that's less than 1/100th of a percent. It's really tiny. And the more packages you install, the more Ubuntu your Linux Mint becomes. So the same thing is happening here. And of course, we can always, change our preferences and change our colors. And if we rather have white on black, we can do white on black, that kind of thing. And so now when we do our Nala, I do that all the time. I don't know where that word comes from. And then do an update. Now those colors are a bit more pronounced. And of course, I can also change the color theme itself, the palette, to be the Linux console. I clear that and run that same command again. Now those colors are really kind of popping. Okay, but that's Nala. Another thing we want to do is, let's say we want to we don't want to type sudo Nala all the time, but we want that to be like our default quote-unquote package manager. To do that, we just create a couple aliases, and we will nano tilde slash dot bash rc. Okay, I'm gonna use the page down, go all the way to the bottom here, give myself some space, and I'm going to create my own workspace here. And that's going to be between these two lines of hashes. Okay, the first one I'm going to do is going to be for our environment. So if I want to change environment variables, I can. Aliases and sources. Okay, so I already know one environment I want to change, and that's going to be the editor. I always want to use nano as my editor. Okay, so I can also do an alias for, I'm going to do dfh. Wow. First, and I'll show you why here in a second. df-h. Pipe that to this. And like I said, I'll explain this in just a second. Give me a moment. Okay, alias, and then I want to do, let's say, a package equals, and this is something else those other bajillion respins like to do, is they'll go in here and put an alias in there and say, we have a custom package manager. No, you don't. You have Nala. Okay. I want to save that. Now, there's two different ways we can go from here as far as to get those installed. Like, so if I do a dfh, it's not found. That's because we haven't reloaded our bash rc file. And we can do that by logging off and logging back in, or we can do source bash rc. Now, there's a shorthand of source. That in itself works, but there's a shorthand to it, and you just put a dot there instead. So it'll be dot tilde slash bash rc. Now, when I do dfh, it's there. Okay, so let me show you why I created the alias for dfh. df-h. That's a big old long line of bunch of stuff. Most of that item I'm not worried about. I'm not worried about any of these that start with 10FS. These are temporary file systems. I'm not worried about them. I don't care. So what I'm doing here is I'm just grepping that and pulling out those FS's. Okay, this V means to ignore or to exclude. So I want to df-h grep, but I'm going to exclude FS. Now when I do that, it looks a lot cleaner. I can do the same thing to that udev too if I really wanted to. But now I know exactly how much we have going on here. I got 5.8 gigs in root directory, and then I've got 203 megs in my separate home partition. If you remember the first video, or the second video actually, I believe, the second video of this series, we separated the home partition from the rest of the file system. So now if home gets completely full, it fills up that drive partition and does not touch our root partition at all, which is great. So let's package install. Oh, I know a favorite one. A lot of people like to use this one. It's neofetch, right? So we're going to package install neofetch. Remember, package is just an alias to Nala. Oh, wow, it's not found. Huh. Okay, well, there is a new one that is out that's much better anyway. It's called fastfetch. And fastfetch is better than neofetch because it is actually written in a compiled language. It's written in C. It's not a script. It's an actual application. So now when I run fastfetch, watch how fast this thing comes back. It's instant. It's there. Bam! Well, what if I'm used to typing neofetch and I just keep going neofetch? Oh crap, it's not installed. I forgot it's fastfetch. Again, this is where aliases come into play. Nano, bash rc, page down to get to our bottom, alias neofetch equals fastfetch. So what this is saying is, hey bash, when I type the word neofetch, what I really mean is fastfetch. Fix that for me. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Again, we made a change to the bash rc file, so we have to source it. Oh, it needed to be a period, not a comma. Okay, now when I type neofetch, I can even tab completed, and now it's there. So if you have muscle memory for neofetch, that's fine. Just add an alias, you fixed it. But you also notice there's a lot more stuff in here than you'll ever see in neofetch. It's a better program. So that's the simple way of doing aliases and commands and stuff like that. Let's talk about a couple packages that you really should use, especially if you're still on the new side of, especially Debian. But if you're on the new side of Linux itself, what we're going to do is we're going to package install. That's going to be command -not-found. Okay, now I'm going to create a little bit of a shortcut here. This is called a bashism, is what it's called. It's where bash is going to automatically expand this out before it issues the command to Nala. And what I want to do is I want to also install package kit dash, and I also, which will be package kit dash command not found, but I also want to do just regular command not found. So I will separate those fields with a comma, and I'll leave it exactly like this. This way, when I go to install, it's pulling in command not found, right there, but it's also pulling in package kit command not found. And looky there, it is suggesting that we install snapd. That's pinned. It's not going to install. It doesn't install suggested packages unless you tell it to anyway. So there was no real harm or no real danger of pulling in snaps. Okay, so there was a little bit of a message here. It says the cache is empty. You might want to run apt file update. Well, apt file update is essentially nothing more than apt update. Or in our case, we can just do package update. Because we have our special command called package. Download my ISO now. Okay. So now what that's going to do is, let's say I decide to, I'm going to, if I type a command like ghost, whatever, it says ghost command not found. All right, well, what if I type a command that actually does exist somewhere, like htop? Htop command not found. Huh. Let's try, I'm just going to create another. We'll do the file update anyway. It should not change anything. Not sure why it's not working. Let's create a new bash instance. There it goes. Okay, so I ended up having to restart bash itself. This is what we're looking for here. This part right here is the command not found package. This part right here is the package kit command not found image or package. So this tells you that command htop is not found, but it can be installed with apt install htop. Okay, well, thank you for the hint. Package install htop. There it is. Suggests is trace. We'll leave it alone. Okay, I did intentionally spell that to show you that the command's not found, but here are some things that are very similar to what you just typed. Perhaps you meant one of those instead. And on the list is the command I really wanted to type. And there you have it. Okay, so basically what we've done here is we've done some theming. We made our console look better. We made our desktop look better. We changed out our icons. We added some theming so things just look better than default. This is actually a desktop that I would actually use. Yeah, we can go ahead and close the terminal. It was complaining because I still had a bash instance open. But anyway, I don't need it anyway. We can close the whole thing. But anyway, there you have it for this video. If you have any questions or comments, concerns, I hate your video. I love your video. Leave them in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we'll see you next time.